Alright, this is the Blackberry Clamshell 9670 software review from Drifter.com. On the front screen here, you can see a fully functional clock that is customizable. You can also see your basic battery status as well as the network status, and I will go into a little bit more about the possible future functionality of this screen later in the review. But let's get to the goodies. OS 6. You can see a little bit different home screen here. 8 icons, 4x4. This is customizable. Also up here you have a search bar where you can basically type in anything you want, and you can do a local search of messages, email, music, go to YouTube. This also works just by typing from the home screen. You don't actually have to be in the search bar. You have your profiles up here as well. Select different profile. You can change your profiles. That's pretty much the same as OS 5 was. Also, some of the other functions down here, your messages look the same. If I go into contacts here, it does look a little bit different, although functionality is the same. It is basically just a little bit whiter, if you will, and more spread out. Also, your phone, it works just like any other phone. I'm going to go here and I'm going to look in media a little bit. Also, if you noticed, when I pushed the trackpad in one time, it expanded the row of 2 icons into each individual folder, and you can scroll between folders: downloads, media, favorites, frequent, and all. But I came down into media here. So if I open up music here, I'll show you a little bit about the redone media player. First of all, it opens up to all songs, artists, albums, genres, just like the other media player did. But when you go in, you'll notice it looks a little bit different. You can see all my music in here. I'll show you what it looks like when I play a little bit of it here. I'm going to grab some of my favorite Bob Marley, Three Little Birds, because there's nothing to worry about here. You can see the external speakers on this device are fairly good. It'd be tough to use outside, but in an office or a room, it works perfectly fine. A little bit about the functionality of the media player here. You can grab the bar down here and fast forward or rewind. You can also click on the artist here and see other albums by the same artist. You can use a cover scroll here, kind of similar to what the iPod uses, to go between songs. It'll tell you how many songs ahead it is and what the title of the song is. And by simply selecting it and clicking it, it will play that song instead. So it does make for much more pleasing navigating through your music from artist to artist. And in my opinion, I think it definitely is a step up. I'm going to pick one of my favorite Bob Marley songs here, and while that's playing, I'll back out of here. Voice notes, voice recorder, video camera, basically functionality is all the same. A little bit updated of the aesthetics. There's nothing crazy there, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. If I back out here and go into a different folder, you will notice options. This is where everyone wants to see. Sounds and ringtones. Obviously, there's a little bit more customizable options in here. It looks like RIM wanted to go back to allowing you a little bit more full functionality, whether you wanted to add or create your own profiles. We saw some of this in 5.0, but it's come a little bit further in 6. I'm not going to spend much time in there. Connectivity. This phone does have Wi-Fi. Obviously, you can connect to Bluetooth, and one thing I do want to show you in here is that if you come into mobile network and look closely, this CDMA device actually looks like it was ready to be activated on Sprint. I know many people speculated that this was going to go to Verizon because they're the biggest CDMA carrier, and I'm not saying it won't, but I thought it was interesting that the available network was Sprint down here at the bottom and in the selection mode. So I'm going to back out of there, take what you want from that. Date and time, home screen preferences, these are some of the things that I said you could change. I thought it was interesting that you had a landscape wallpaper setting as well as a portrait wallpaper setting. This up here, the launch bar, they're calling it at the top of the home screen. You can change it from universal search to just application shortcuts, kind of like your very own quick launch menu. Some of the screen components, we've seen these before: fonts, menus, themes. Message categorization will allow you to distinguish messages from family, friends, or significant others by colors. Back out here and come into here. The most interesting thing in this screen in typing input is that there's an option built in here for touchscreen sensitivity. And if you open it up, there's nothing built into it yet. However, it does give me the idea that this device possibly will have some touchscreen functionality on the front cover of the device, not the internal cover. Trackpad sensitivity, just like your trackball, 70/70. Screen and keyboard, spell check, this is all stuff you guys have seen before, so I'm not going to spend much time on it, but I did want to show you that the touchscreen sensitivity does seem to be built into the early stages of this operating system. And please keep in mind that this is an early operating system. As you can see here in the About device versions, this is only 6.0.0.31, so by all means it's a relatively early version and build of a 6.0 operating system. So there are still some kinks being worked out. There are still some quirks, but it does show a lot of promise for sure. You've seen all this other stuff before. Memory management I did want to point out, because as you can see for the free space there is 295.6 megabytes, hinting at the fact that there's 512 megabytes of internal device memory, which I do not believe was noted previously to this video. So this seems to be a common theme with some of the new devices, especially the ones running OS 6. This is just my media card down here, so ignore that. Don't know if there's anything else in here I wanted to show you except this is your basic application screen. What they did was split it out between core and add-on, and they put the third party in a separate place. And just to prove that this device is running 6.0, if you don't believe me already, you can come in here and scroll down and see all the 6.0, and you will recognize many of the very same modules from 5.0 OS. So not that much of the Java has changed, but it does even believe there's many similarities. Another thing of note here is that Blackberry Messenger, check out the version on that. Also Blackberry Podcast, if you remember that being in the beta zone. I did post pictures of that on Drifter.com a couple months ago. Brick Breaker browser 6.0, that's also of note. You can see the other built-in apps down here as well. All updated to 6.0. Probably don't show that much different functionality-wise, but aesthetically they're all changed. Twitter is included, YouTube is included now. MySpace was included previously, but you can see they're adding the RSS feed for the podcast in here. So a lot of the things that are showing up in Beta Zone are going to be in OS 6. Probably saw that one coming anyway, but it is important to note that. Popping out here, call management. I'm not going to spend too much time in here either, because the functionality is all the same. It's just put in a different place. And as you can see, like I mentioned, they separated the third-party applications out down here now, so I don't have any in here either, but this does allow you to configure what applications are searchable from your quick launch bar at the top of your home screen. If you remember that launch bar, so you can control what goes up there through this screen right here. One other thing to note before I go on is that I forgot to mention this in the hardware review, but if you look down here at the trackpad, there is a light around the pad, which I do not remember seeing on the 9700 or the 9650 or any of the other new trackpad devices, so it is important to note that. You can see this is kind of all mixed up because this is your most frequent used applications, so this kind of updates depending on how frequently you go into them. Besides that, I'm not sure there's that much more I wanted to show you, except that I thought it was cool. You could go from one screen to the other just by the flick of a thumb. And if I back out of here now, you can see I'm back to the home screen. You can see there's that launch bar at the top. And at this point, I think that's all I want to leave you with for right now. I will dive into it a little bit more as I spend some more time with the device and pick it apart even further, but for right now I think that gives you a good taste of what OS 6 is all about, and it also shows you that RIM is doing good things, and while some people said there might just be small changes, I do see some bigger changes and some functionality built in for some real exciting things here in the future. So keep your heads up, keep your eyes out for more exclusive videos from Drifter.com, and as I pick apart the operating system on this device, please keep your eyes out for some new files floating around the internet. Thanks for your time, and I hope you come back and visit us again.